Mixed martial arts. Mixed martial arts. How do we like our martial arts? Nous les amo mixed. Ha 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 ha.
Wow. All right.
Yes,
the UFC, you did a great job. A for effort. The UFC is in Paris. Big event coming up tomorrow. You know the crowd is going to be on fire at Accor Arena. There you see the two men in the main event kicking off this sort of 2-fight, 4-man Grand Prix, if you will, to determine who Khamzat Chimaev's first title defense will be against. Nassourdine Imavov facing Caio Borralho, 5 rounds if needed. Great co-main event in the lightweight division between Benoit Saint-Denis and Mauricio Ruffy. And one of the better fights on the card, no longer, after Losene Keita missed weight big time by 3 pounds. The former OKTAGON 2-division champ, and his fight with Patricio Pitbull no longer happening, and a lot to digest from that and a lot to talk about with this event. And joining me to do this, I'm Mike Heck, by the way, my fellow New Englander, my fellow Red Sox fan, the social media giant for MMAfighting.com, and the road warrior, actually home this time around, fresh off a trip to the UK, the one and only José Youngs. There he is. How we doing, my friend?
I could be better if Roman Anthony's oblique wasn't strained at the moment, but we persevere. Excited for some daytime MMA tomorrow. Little bummed about the Pitbull fight, but again, we persevere. I'm still a good card.
Well, let's start there, because this was, I mean, to any sort of hardcore fan or anybody that sort of looks beyond the main event, I think this is this might have been the best fight on the card to a lot of people, because people wanted to see how Pitbull would match up against a guy like Keita, who's really nasty. And Pitbull had told our own Guilherme Cruz prior to the fight, he had heard rumblings that Keita might miss weight and he may not make it to the fight. And sure enough, he was absolutely correct about this. And it's just a bummer, man. So when you found out about this, and then the fight obviously being bumped off the card altogether, what was your reaction to it? Yes, it made me want to disappear as well. There he is. He's back. Your reaction to this fight being removed once you found out about it, Jose?
Not surprised, just based on our own Guilherme Cruz's reporting. I know he'd been kind of planting the seeds throughout the week. So when it finally came true, I was just like, because I woke up early to cover weigh-ins and Guilherme was the only one on. I remember messing with him and being like, damn, you were on the money. And he's like, yeah, Pitbull, where there's smoke, there's fire. So disappointed that we don't get to see Pitbull fight. Disappointed we don't get another exciting newcomer to the UFC. Card definitely took a hit, because I'm excited about the main event. I'm excited about Ruffy BSD, but I think that Pitbull fight was the one that I was the most intrigued about, because it seems like Pitbull was trying to speed run his path to the title. Like, I do the UFC a favor by fighting this newcomer on short notice. They'll do me a favor down the line. That obviously might still happen now, because he made weight and he was ready to go, and clearly wasn't his fault the fight's not coming, but very disappointed overall, all around. But as our own Guilherme said, shouldn't be a surprise.
So this brings a question up to me, and I know I think I've seen like a couple reports of this. We have not like fully confirmed this yet. There are reports that Keita is getting released from the UFC. Yeah. Again, we have not confirmed this, but would you release him? I got to tell you, I would after this. I mean, you get one chance to make a first impression. The UFC does not need a single person on this roster. As excited as we were about Keita, you can't miss weight, man. You just can't in an opportunity like this.
Yeah, I mean, they're giving him a massive opportunity. This is not like, say he's just like a prelim guy, or he wins the Contender Series, he's just making his official UFC debut and he misses weight. Okay, I get it. You're a young fighter, but you have close to 20-something fights, and you're fighting one of the greatest martial artists of the 21st century. This is the UFC gift wrapping you. You beat Pitbull, you are in the top 10 right out of the gate, and you can't even make weight. So I'm never in favor of cutting guys, but if there's a case, just because of this, but if there is a case to be made to release a guy for not being professional, then this has to be it, right? The UFC doing you a massive favor. Like Eddie Alvarez fought Cowboy Cerrone in his first fight. MVP got Kevin Holland. Like those guys are great, but Pitbull is a 2-division, almost 3-division champion, one of the greatest fighters ever. He doesn't need this fight. You needed this fight, and it fell through. It's just all around. Yeah, you nailed it on that.
Yeah, I mean, go back to Octagon, get a couple wins, get to featherweight a couple of times, or just be a lightweight, and then you're good. But yeah, you can't like. It's not like they booked this fight a week ago.
Right.
This fight's been on the books for like over a month, several weeks now. I just, it's such a tough scene, such a tough look. I would not be surprised if the UFC was just like, dude, you're out of here. Wow. How about the timing on that one? So once Jose gets back, we'll talk about the main event.
I don't know why that keeps happening. It's been happening to me forever, and I don't know. I still haven't figured it out.
It's such a mystery. We could play a drinking game out of this. Every time Jose disappears, just rip them back. Guys may be feeling a little froggy after that. So, hey, but the main event, Jose, we're kicking off just this massive run for middleweight. Khamzat Chimaev is the new champion. Shortly after Khamzat won the belt, we already knew Nassourdine Imavov versus Kyle Borralho was happening on Saturday, but Dana White makes the announcement that is not the number one contender fight, because we got Anthony Hernandez versus Reinier de Ridder headlining UFC Vancouver, and basically the breakout of those two fights that will determine who Khamzat will fight next. And now we get Imavov versus Borralho. As a fan of the high-level mixed martial arts, Jose, we get two surging middleweights who arguably, I mean, if you wanted to make a case that they deserved a title shot before Khamzat, I would listen to you. I know from the star power, it's not the same, but especially Imavov knocking out Israel Adesanya the way that he did earlier this year. Your thoughts on this fight, Jose? I mean, how excited are you for this one?
I'm excited because I've said for a long time, I've like, how many BTLs, how many preview shows, how many shows have we done where I'm like, this is the fight to make. It was whoever won this fight, no brainer, number one contender. The problem is for all these middleweight fights that we have, as you and AK like to call, the division has been so active that if this fight was made in June or May or even July and they had won, or that's the number one contender fight. Like if this was the co-main event for UFC 319 in Chicago, probably. Well, I know that was like the week after Fluffy, but it was just all those timelines lined up. The problem, this fight should have happened earlier. I know they wanted to save Imavov for France. I understand how long Kyle Borralho has been calling for this fight specifically for a very long time. Should be the number one contender fight. Fluffy's just been, and RDR are probably just on, like, because Bo Nickel is probably the most famous, isn't the word, most talked about fighter in that division outside of Khamzat. The second RDR smoked him, he immediately was on the forefront of people's minds. And then Fluffy Hernandez does what he does to Roman Dolidze, just looks like a middleweight prime Cain Velasquez. There are more people talking about those two fighters than Kyle Borralho or Imavov. Imavov knocks out Izzy. He should have fought Kyle Borralho right away. Obviously, 4 fights, 12 months is tough. Kyle Borralho kind of put it on Jared Cannonier. That fight, that hasn't aged exceptionally well, considering that Cannonier also just got pieced up by a welterweight moving up. I wish this fight happened earlier because then we wouldn't have questions. But I'm not complaining. It's a great fight. I'm glad it's happening in France, which has proven to be one of the rowdier crowds in the UFC. So silver lining, I just wish this happened earlier.
Is it because of what is at the forefront of people's minds? You mentioned RDR and you mentioned Fluffy and obviously Khamzat. Is it better for these two guys that they're going first, or would it be better for them if they were going last?
Probably last. It's always better to see what Fluffy does what Fluffy does, and RDR, like, yeah, that fight against Bo Nickel is great. There's a very real world that Robert Whittaker beat RDR in that fight, and the Gerald Meerschaert fight wasn't exceptionally exciting because it looked like he got exhausted after the first round, and then he did what he does to Kevin Holland. I think whoever fights second between these two middleweight fights that's because now you have a base. If Imavov goes out there and just kind of pieces him up like he did against Brendan Allen, or Kyle Borralho just pieces him up like he's shown to do and doesn't put on a stellar performance, RDR and Fluffy they do what they do. And I think, if I'm a betting man, which fight's gonna have a finish, it's probably that second fight, right?
Yeah, I mean, we'll certainly see. I mean, because this could be one of those things. Like maybe the guy who wins this fight just puts on such a dominant performance. Like one of these guys just runs over and just dummies the other guy. And then maybe Hamzat tweets out like, all right, I don't need to see the other fight. I'm fighting this dude. And then that might just be like game, set, match already, even though we have this other one. And there's plenty of time because you don't know like when Hamzat's fighting anyways. And, you know, we could just have like a little queue, one guy here and then the next guy's in line, which is not the worst case scenario either. But I feel like, Jose, and I'm looking even at the betting odds right now, of these four guys, I feel like Nassourdine Imavov doesn't get the respect he deserves,
for sure,
unlike these other guys. Why do you think that is? I feel like I'm guilty of that myself sometimes, but why do you feel like that is the case when he's on such an impressive run?
Doesn't speak English, which is a super bummer because it shouldn't matter, but fight fans are fight fans. He's also had some wonky fights. Like the Roman Dolidze fight was a little wonky at the end. The Chris Curtis kind of clash of heads was a little wonky. And I remember when we're talking about Imavov fight for the title because he beat Izzy. When they announced that fight, a lot of us thought they should have just made Hamzat Israel like right out of the gate. Like that should have been like a contender fight, or they should have done Sean Strickland versus Izzy rematch. I mean, not Sean Strickland because he was coming up, or like a Paulo Costa Izzy rematch. Like Imavov was like not a thought as a possible fight for Israel Adesanya. That being said, he's had some very big wins. I just think he hasn't fought Robert Whittaker. He hasn't fought Paulo Costa. We've seen like even the Cannonier fight was a little wonky. Wasn't that kind of a weird stoppage? We're talking about him because of what he did against Adesanya. Everything up to that, we were like, it's just weirdness has followed him. Like he's not getting RDR smashed Bo Nickel. Fluffy Hernandez put it on Roman Dolidze. Borralho hasn't lost in X amount of years and has debuted as a co-main event. Imavov's been here, and it's just been weird circumstance after weird circumstance. And he doesn't speak English, unfortunately. That shouldn't matter, but it does. So that's my answer. Just weirdness surrounds him.
Yeah, and then Kyle coming in, he was the co-main event, but like his first few fights, he seemed to be the co-main event in all of them, and none of those fights are memorable. They were just like, all right, he's just grinding out wins, and none of them were anything to write home about. But since then, like, he's gotten better. He's gotten some finishes. He had a weird fight with Cannonier where he was just like, yeah, I could probably tackle this dude and beat him, but you know what? I'm just going to stand with him the entire time. And ended up being a fight that was 2-2 heading into the fifth round, and Kyle almost got him out of there. And yeah, look at Kyle Borralho now, Jose, putting himself in position to possibly fight for a belt. And I think what kind of hurt Imavov as well is the fact that Kyle just kept saying, yeah, this dude's ducking me. I keep calling him out. That seemed like the fight to make, and everyone sort of believed him. All right, maybe this guy is ducking him. Maybe he wants a title shot that he's not getting. Maybe he's playing the Cyril Gane role, which people always kept dumping on Cyril for not fighting people, but he ended up getting a title shot. Maybe Imavov thought he could have got the same deal. But what's the biggest question you have about this fight?
They're so similar.
I know, right?
They're so similar. Like I don't have a lot of questions because it's one of those weird fights where we have so much tape on these guys. We know what they can do. We know they can grind out a fight. We know they can submit guys, and we know they can go on the feet. I'm not saying this is the best martial arts fight we can have because they're not the best strikers, they're not the best wrestlers, and they're not the best grapplers. They're just both very well-rounded mixed martial artists, and there is so much tape against a myriad of different styles of fighting in there. I think it really just comes down to either who lands the first big shot and puts the guy on his heels, or who can just implement their game plan. Who has the better game plan? That's literally it. Because like we see like in heavyweights, like, oh, whoever lands the first shot's going to put him out. Oh, can people stay on the jab? Oh, who gets the first takedown? Like none of that is, I think all that's out the door because both of these guys have proven that they can fight wherever they put. So whoever's game plan is better. Because both of these guys they're just so similar.
Yeah, I think I feel the same way you do. I do think I am curious who gets the first takedown and what that's going to look like, because both guys have just such good top control games. Both guys can deliver a lot of punishment up top, and both guys are very strong in that position. So I'm curious, like if Imavov is able to get Borralho down, is he going to be able to keep him there and land those big elbows and land that nasty ground and pound? And what about if Kyle Borralho gets Imavov on his back? Can he do the same thing? Can he keep him there? Can he control him? Can he put him in some really tough spots? So I'm curious to see how that plays out. So I don't know if we have Jose back, but there he is. Jose, hello. According to our friends at FanDuel, Kyle Borralho is the slight favorite, -134. The comeback on Nassourdine Imavov, +110. Who wins tomorrow? It's so tough to call.
This is a tough one, man. This is very different than the middleweight title fight where it's like, oh, Dreeks and Hamza were, who's going to be able to stuff the takedown, and like this is so tough. This is a tough pick. Imavov's win against Israel Adesanya is the most impressive win of any of the fights that either man have had. Knocking out Israel is a tough task. Kyle Borralho, until that Jared Cannonier fight, never really blew me away. Probably Imavov, and that's just a gut pick. Like when the intangibles aren't there, that's just a gut pick. Imavov is so good at mixed martial arts. I know he lost to Sean Strickland, but that was kind of a weird circumstance too, where I think Imavov was supposed to fight Kelvin, and then Kelvin fell out, and then Sean Strickland filled in at light heavyweight, and Sean Strickland and Kelvin are very different styles of fighters, both physically and like actually fighting. So I don't really hold that against him. The Chris Kerr's clash of head was a little weird, but hell, if someone's going to win by a wonky finish, it's going to be Imavov. I think we can both agree on that. If there's going to be an early stoppage or an injury, it's going to be in favor of Imavov. But if it gets to a decision, and that's tough. My gut says Imavov, and I'm so unconfident in that pick.
So I have had a history of picking against both of these guys,
right,
and being wrong every single time. So
I picked Roman, I picked Jared, I definitely picked Izzy, and I probably picked Brendan Allen against Imavov. And he just keeps proving me wrong.
Yeah, I picked Izzy. I think I picked Kaio against Cannonier. I think I picked Imavov versus Cannonier as well. But that's just, it's kind of like more of a Cannonier thing. The more I look at this, I don't know, man. I really don't know. Man. Like, I was on Submission Radio on Sunday, and I was like, I'm leaning Borralho, and then I decided to go back and like watch fights, and now my gut is telling me that Imavov finishes Borralho in like the third round. I don't know why. I don't know why that has come to my head, but I think like the hometown crowd, I think his momentum, I think this is going to be his moment where it's just like, all right, enough. We're done disrespecting this guy. He's really, really good. And if it all comes down to like, am I more sold on Imavov or am I more sold on Borralho? And I think I'm a little more sold on Imavov right now than I am on Kaio. So,
I agree.
But I truly don't know. This is an actual flip of the coin. But I will go Imavov
also
inside the distance in a shocking knockout.
What both of us have failed to mention is Kyle Borralho made weight last month for UFC 319. This is the second time he's weighing in at 185 in the span of 2 months. And historically, that has not always worked out with everyone. Famously, Tony Ferguson, for whatever reason, made weight for a fight on his original date against Khabib and then did it again, and it blew up in his face against Justin Gaethje. I'm not comparing the two because Tony Ferguson and Kyle Borralho are very different humans and very different styles of fighters. Kyle Borralho is not a scrawny middleweight. Neither is Imavov. Doing this twice in 2 months is tough. I saw him in 319, and he looked in rough shape. He wasn't delirious because we had a few conversations, but I hadn't really stood next to him during a fight week. I've seen him outside because he's everywhere. Like, what fighters traveled more than Kyle Borralho? I saw him in London for Bruno Brazil. I've seen him at the Apex. I've seen him in Miami for when Prates was supposed to fight. He is a thick dude. That dude could go up to light heavyweight in the future, and that could very well backfire for him.
Yeah, Imavov's a tank too, man. Like
both of them.
Two brutes.
I always knew Imavov was like a tall guy, but then when you saw him face off against Izzy is a tall middleweight, and they were staring at each other directly in the eyes, I'm like, oh shit, Imavov is huge. And then
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that interview that Dana White did with our friend Oscar Willis, where he said when he patted him on the back, he was like touching sheet metal. I was like, oof, big dude.
Yeah, he's an absolute tank. Cannot wait for that fight. Very, very intriguing. The co-main event is just gonna be insane, Jose. Mauricio Ruffy, the minus 172 favorite. Benoit Saint-Denis comes back at plus 140. What a road it has been for Benoit Saint-Denis, Jose. It has been absolutely insane. Guy comes in at welterweight, just gets bagged up real bad to the point where we're asking for a referee to be fired after allowing Benoit Saint-Denis to continue fighting. Then he moves down to lightweight. He's just nuking everybody, brutal finishes, dominant performances. And then the UFC gives him Dustin Poirier, and he looks good early in the first round. He's beating Dustin Poirier around, and then Poirier finishes him in round 2. And we're just like, well, dude's still real good. Maybe he's just not upper echelon just yet. Don't worry, he'll be back. Then they throw him in there with Renato Moicano, and Renato Moicano just gives him a vicious beating until the fight is stopped. And then Benoit Saint-Denis comes back, and he fights in Canada against Kyle Prepolek, I believe, who took the fight on a few days' notice. And Saint-Denis goes out and gets a finish, and he's back on track. And now he's taking on one of the most dangerous surging guys in this division. This fight absolutely rules, Jose. I don't know what else to say about it. Your thoughts?
This fight rules. It's one of those, like, I kind of group the like Ruffy, BSD, Fiziev, Ignacio Bahamondes, like this new violent, because most of the lightweights, like Poirier's retired. I know we just added Max, but Gaethje's closer to retirement than he's not. Chandler's same thing. Charles is probably kind of on the back burner for a title shot for a little bit. Ilya's doing his thing. And then there's like these guys I would probably rank like 19 to 10 who are just awesome. Like Ruffy, Fiziev, Benil is probably still doing his thing there. Ignacio, and I know Jalen Turner just retired. That's a bit of a bummer. I want to see him keep fighting. But Ruffy, this is a weird fight for me because Benoit, we talked about, so we don't have to like go back into it, but like beating Matt Favola and then immediately getting Dustin Poirier, that is a massive jump in skills for an opponent for Benoit. Ruffy is kind of doing like he fought King Green and cooked him with one of the best knockouts you'll ever see. I don't know what version of Benoit we're going to get, because even the Kyle Prepolak fight, like, yeah, he got the finish, but if you go back and watch that, he didn't look fantastic, like against a guy that took the fight on short notice, and then Moicano put it on him, and then he looked good until he didn't against Poirier. I do not know what version of Benoit Saint-Denis we're going to get, because he seems like a guy that doesn't know how to go light in the gym. Like, he's had staff when he fought Poirier. Like, who knows how healthy he is? Did he change camp too? Does he have the same head coach? Or am I misremembering?
I think he does. I think he's got the same coach.
So I do not know what version of Benoit we're going to get, and I also don't know how good Ruffy is, because beating King Green is great, but Patty did it. We've seen like Drew Dober's done it. We've seen King Green starts before. Benoit is also a very talented grappler. I know we talk about his violence, but usually hurts you and then chokes you out. He has more submission wins than knockout wins. We don't know how Ruffy's defensive grappling is, or if he gets to the ground. I am very curious about this fight. It is the opposite of the main event. I have so many questions about this co-main event. Can Benoit, like, I kind of view this as Benoit's actual return, because the Montreal fight, it was good to see him get back on the win column. He was supposed to fight Joel Alvarez. If he had beat Joel Alvarez, that would have been like, holy shit, Benoit's back. Ruffy's talented. Joel Alvarez might be the best of those three, honestly, because we don't know. I'm curious how Ruffy is with the grappling. I'm curious how he handles he's going to be the villain, and Ruffy is usually the fan favorite. Benoit's going to get cheered out the building, and Ruffy's going to get booed. I'm very curious how this plays out. This is, now that the Pitbull fight's over, this is my most intriguing fight of the night by far. And I think I would hazard a guess most people would agree with me.
What are the stakes here? This is a loaded division, and there's so much happening up the top right now. Like, we don't know who's going to fight for the belt right now, and there's 3 potential options right now. And you mentioned, like, just look at the bottom third of the top 15 and then 4, 5, 6 guys knocking on the door right now. Like, this division is just going to keep bringing heaters all the way up and down the rankings. So what is at stake, especially for BSD? Like, if he goes out and loses another fight, it's 3 out of 4. It's a tough spot to be in.
Yeah, Benoit definitely has the most to lose. I think we can both agree with that because, like you said, 3 out of 4, and he's probably going to be on the back burner for a bit. The winner will probably be slotted in at the 15-14, and that just goes to show you how good lightweight is. I would like to say the winner would probably have a fight like Gamrot or Joel Alvarez, or maybe if Fiziev loses to Charles, or if BSD wins and Charles wins, you could do that fight. I don't know if they're going to do Ruffy Charles. I think they want to keep the Brazilians away. I'm certainly not counting Michael Chandler in any of these conversations. Honestly, Beneil Dariush could be waiting for the winner too. I mean, who wouldn't? God, lightweight is so good. Lightweight is just Ignacio Bohamondes is chilling there too. The lightweight is just the absolute best in the world right now. I would say they're 15 ranking is probably at stake right now, and then a main event of a fight night moving forward.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. Well, you heard the odds according to FanDuel. Ruffy, the -172 favorite, comeback on BSD +140. Who you got here?
Probably Benoit. I'm just gonna pick Benoit. I'm not confident. I just think he has more tools. Ruffy can always land that crazy haymaker. Kicking or punching. I know he has the super unorthodox style of fighting, not unorthodox, but like very strategic McGregor-esque style of fighting. I think I'm saying this because I've just seen more tools from Benoit. I've said this about a bunch. I said this about Ilya back in the day. Ilya might be an unbelievable wrestler grappler. We just haven't seen him have to use it against elite competition because he's just been melting fools. Ruffy might be a better grappler. I haven't seen it. And that's why this fight is so good. But at the same time, Benoit has shown not to be that durable, especially in recent memories. Ruffy is not a guy you can really do the take 1 to give 2. That would be a very poor decision of Benoit, but this backfires all the time if you're betting. A, don't bet. That's dumb. B, don't listen to me. I'm just going to pick Benoit. And I'm very unconfident about that.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna bet on this fight, where is it? What is inside the distance? Because I just feel like this fight is not going to the cards.
It's 3-rounder, right?
It's a 3-rounder. Fight to go the distance, does not go the distance, -275. So there's not a lot of juice there. So that just goes to tell you.
I wouldn't hate the winner of this if they fought on the first Paramount card. Would be kind of sick in January.
Yeah, wouldn't be bad. I wonder if Ruffy would want to turn around for, like, if Ruffy gets a quick finish, if he wants to turn right around for Rio. I don't know. Wouldn't be a bad.
I mean, Pitbull's also asking to be on that card. At some point, you're gonna lose spots.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ruffy would probably have a better chance because he actually. It's not his fault, but he actually fought. But I guess my biggest question is, like, we're going to know what this fight's going to look like very quickly.
Yeah.
Very quickly. Either Ruffy is just going to beat the hell out of BSD and this is not competitive, or BSD gets him down and just starts doing BSD things on the ground. So this is one of those fights where within the first 3 minutes, we're going to know who's going to win. So I'm going with Ruffy, man. I just don't know if BSD is defensively sound enough now. I don't know if he's improved that much here, because even Kyle was hitting him a little bit in that fight. Like, I know BSD, like, it was a different BSD. He eventually went out there and got a finish because he got the fight to the ground in round 2, but he looked like a guy who's just like, I just need to win. It doesn't need to look pretty. I just need to go out there and win a fight. He cannot do that here. He needs to be picture perfect in this fight, or he's going to get badly beat up. And try as he must, I think he's going to get badly beat up in this fight. So I think Mauricio Ruffy gets another big win. And yeah, unless his defense is really shored up, and I just don't see it coming. I just don't really see that right now. So We shall see. That is a great fight. It's going to be electric for as long as it lasts. Rest of the main card, we got Modestas Bukauskas versus Paul Craig. Balaji Oki versus Mason Jones. You know, that's going to be pretty fun. Axel Sola versus Reese McKee. I don't know what else, if anything else is getting moved to the main card. We'll get William Gomi versus the debuting Robert Ruchala. Omar C versus Brenson Ribeiro. Marcin Tybura versus Ante Delija 2. The rematch that the world has been waiting for. That is happening as well. Kawi Fernandez welcomes Harry Hardwick to the UFC. Sam Patterson, Trey Waters. That's going to be fun. Brad Tavares. One of the low-key storylines of this event, Brad Tavares could become the middleweight wins record holder if he beats Robert Brychek. And no one's talking about this. So
No.
We'll see if Brad Tavares can make some history. Renat Fakrachinov versus Andreas Gustafsson. Jesus Christ, man.
I know, man. That's going to be a crazy fight.
Yeah.
Someone's eye is getting shut in that fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the main card or the prelims open up with Shauna Bannon versus Sam Page, Sam Hughes. So what's the low-key banger, Jose? And I'm sure we're probably looking at Renat and Andreas, but maybe you dig a little deeper.
I mean, that's the high-level fight of the prelims.
Yeah.
Like, that fight is going to, like, the canvas is going to be red by the end of that fight. That fight is awesome. Someone's going to sleep in that one. I say that, it's probably going to be boring now. I mean, good for Brad Tavares. Wasn't like one of his last two fights, the end of his contract, and he's like, oh, I hope the UFC re-signs me. God bless. Brad Tavares is still doing the damn thing. Has fought pretty much everyone in the middleweight division. Has kind of been the guy that you beat Brad Tavares, you can be in the top 20. I think, is he not the longest tenured Tough alum now in the UFC?
That is a great question.
I would bet that that's true because, you know, Matt Brown was the longest, and I think now that Matt Brown retired, I think it's Brad Tavares.
Was Chiesa on?
Who?
What season was Chiesa on?
Brad was before that.
Brad was 11.
Chiesa was on like was that the live season, the 15th season? Was that
you're right.
The one that Tough Live when because he won. So Brad Tavares was yeah. So, but anyway, god damn Brad Tavares, basically the Neil Magny of the middleweight division. And there's like other fights that I'm curious about, like the Sam Patterson fight. I've interviewed Sam for a lot of his, because I've been to a lot of the London cards or the Canada cards that he's been on. I don't know how he ever made lightweight. But now that he's at welterweight, he's looked pretty unbelievable. He's a very good interview, very nice guy, very exciting fighter. I think he's kind of a dark, like when people are talking about these welterweight prospects on the rise, not enough people are talking about Sam Patterson. I think he's very exciting. And then Ante Delija making his UFC debut, I'm very excited for.
Yes, it is good to see Trey Waters back in there. Very exciting guy. He's coming off a fight of the night win over Billy Ray Goff, but that was in May of 2024. So he's been out for a long ass time, man. So be good to see Trey back in there, and it should be a fun card. So
not bad. Losing Pitbull sucks, but it's still a fun little card. God bless you.
That's a cough, man. Yeah, I've been hurting all week, but we're battling through, trying to talk through this, but occasionally the throat dries up. So Casey, hello, no sleeves.
No sleeves.
Hi. Means the excitement is here for UFC Paris.
Paris.
All right. What are the peeps talking about? Well, actually, let me ask you, Casey. What are your thoughts on you've been the highest on Nassourdine Imavov of anybody on this website? That is without question. What are you thinking here heading into this Kyle Borralho fight? And why do you feel like Nassourdine is being, I don't know if disrespected is the word, but not respected enough?
Because as far as respect, well, it's because he doesn't play the game in a sense. You know, he's not a. You just did you did an interview with him for this fight week, and like you kind of, you know, hey, these guys are talking a lot of trash about you, and he was kind of like, you know. He says things.
I love his answer about Kyle. He's like, yeah, he's just a fan who follows me on Instagram, so I don't care about that. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of a boring, at least in his interviews, he's kind of a boring personality. And I mean, this sport is driven by entertainment, and you got to be good on the mic. And so he's just a boring guy. I mean, I kind of compare him a lot to Lerone Murphy in the sense that I've been high on Lerone Murphy for a while, but I knew he wasn't exciting until he was. But he was just a guy. Had a story, but you knew he was shot in the miracle and everything. But he's just not exciting, and just fans want more than just guys who win dominantly, and that's what Lerone Murphy and that's what Imavov have done until they get those big wins. And Lerone Murphy's timing was perfect. Imavov had that perfect fight with Adesanya, and it's led him to, I guess, well, it's not his first main event, but his first main event outside the Apex, correct?
No, Imavov, he fought Cannonier in what, St. Louis or Kansas City or something like that.
Oh, he did?
Okay.
I apologize then. I was wrong about that.
Yeah.
But he's just not it's just not. I love Imavov, but I'm not interested in him as a person too much, I guess. And just I want to find out more about his backstory and stuff. I know I just like watching him fight, and I think Jose kind of said it right. They're very similar fighters, but I just feel Imavov's just a little better, especially in the striking. Fought better competition, but that's not Borralho's fault. So I like the fight, but Imavov's and I want to compare to Lerone Murphy too, are kind of one of those. They're fighters that if they were on the Contender Series, Dana wouldn't sign them because they would win dominant 30-26s, and those there's just not exciting. These are the guys that don't excite Dana, so that's why they have to get so many freaking wins to get to the shot. But once they get that big win, now they're one fight away. But who knows? Imavov might be. He might get a big win tomorrow, and still, it's just number one contender. I think Borralho's got a little more momentum behind him as far as with the UFC brass.
Cal Borralho fought on Contender Series twice.
He
because the first one was so it was just like a whatever fight, and then he came back a month later at light heavyweight and knocked the dude out and got a contract.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He shouldn't have been signed the first time, but you could just seen the talent. But they want to. I don't know.
He beat Aaron Jeffrey the first time on the Contender Series.
Oh, the Bellator fighter, right?
Yeah. And didn't get the contract. So it's he's fighting Nate again, but no one knows that. No one knows that.
Yeah.
The Contender Series.
Yeah.
All right. What are the peeps talking about?
Do the peeps. Not too much action out there. It's kind of quiet. But let me see what I got.
I'm Mike Heck now.
Oh, sweet. I'm Jose.
Hey, nice. All right. We're going to go with it. I like it.
Can I?
You host. Go. I love it.
Casey, I have hair now. What are the peeps saying?
Congratulations, Mike. You look great. Hey, Mike, what's your favorite comic book? No, here we go.
Oh God. We're found. We're found out now. Pitbull made the right decision.
All right.
Is there any disagreement with that?
No.
I guess.
No, I would not say so.
Do you think the UFC holds it against Pitbull at all?
No, I think if this was a main event, then it would be different. But Pitbull, if this was a main event or in Rio or the fight, he was the hometown guy probably. But Pitbull was already, I think, doing them a favor by fighting this dude in Paris. That I don't think the UFC holds it again. They could because the UFC is the UFC, but. If the rumors are true that this guy might be not in the UFC much longer, then I doubt it.
Yeah, I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate. I think Pitbull made 100% the right decision. I am afraid a little bit how the UFC will take this, but you're right. Since it wasn't even like what this fight was like. Was it even like on the main card or where was it? Okay, it was on the main card, but it wasn't like a featured fight. At least I'm going by the top. Was it gonna be the third fight from the top? Did we know?
I think it was one of maybe the second main card fight or something like that.
Yeah, it was pretty far down the card. So yeah, you're right.
So here's a quote from Pitbull. He said in an interview he was faster, younger, stronger. I gave him all the advantages besides allowing this fight to happen here in Paris. He drove 2 hours to get here, so there was no suffering. His weight was low. He got here at 163 just like I did. He had all the advantages and still didn't make weight, so I wouldn't give him that advantage. At this stage, I don't fight for money anymore. I fight for legacy, and I won't give this guy that advantage. Unfortunately, the fight won't happen. That's what he told, I believe, UFC
Brazil.
Yeah. So there you go.
And that's a
I don't
that's
blame
a
him
tough
at all,
dec-
man.
Yeah, and that's a tough decision for Pitbull. I mean, that's a fight camp. That's a weight cut. That's flying from Brazil to the other side of the freaking planet to go to Paris, and then all of a sudden you go, okay, I guess I'm going home. So, yeah, so I believe everything Pitbull said in that quote you said, as far as like he's not fighting for money necessarily more. It's really about his legacy. And yeah, sucks for fans, sucks for Pitbull, and yeah, sucks for Keita. Thank you much. What else we got here? Brandon. Oh, another one from Brandon.
Is this Paul Craig's last chance? Modestus has shown great improvement recently. I feel like it's never Paul Craig's last chance.
Yeah.
This would be what? How many? He hasn't had a win since what, 2023, and even before then, it's like 2 losses, 1 win, 3 losses, no contest. So
Andre
he's like
Muniz, his middleweight debut was his last win.
So at 1-5-1, that's a. I mean, depends on how he loses. Because here's the thing. Because I've talked, I was also on Submission Rant. We talked about this. Losing to Brendan Allen aged well. Losing to Carvalho aged well. Getting beat up on the feet by Bo Nickel in Madison Square Garden did not age well at all. I know the Rodolfo Bellato fight ended wonky, and we could say what we could say about that, but if he goes out there and gets absolutely decimated like he has shown to do, might be it. That might be it.
The Bo Nickel fight was terrible.
That was a bad fight.
Paul looked awful in it. He looked like a dude that should not have been fighting. We know how this fight's going to go with Modestus. Either Paul is going to finish him in the first round, or Modestus is going to knock him out like in 2 or 3. That's how Modestus works. Modestus, once in a while, he's like a first round fighter, but normally he's a guy who is the nail for a little bit. That wakes him up, and then he gets better.
Look at the last fight. A lot of people think Iwan Kuki.
Yes.
Take that, Jose.
Eat it.
There you go. Yeah. Happened again.
The Kuchalaba fight, yeah. A lot of people thought Iwan won that fight, but
in DC.
Well, yeah, but we don't take DC's judging criteria very seriously at this point. So, but we'll see. Paul's got a name. People like him. Seems to be easy to deal with for the UFC. I don't know if he makes a lot of money. It's just so crazy to think about where Paul Craig was like 4 years ago. It's a dude that like dummied up Jamal Hill and like broke his arm in a fight. And that was like his 5th win in a row. And then, yeah, just pretty freaking crazy, man. How the swings of this crazy sport of ours. So, but we'll see.
While we wait for Jose
Paul's got to be competitive. Paul at least has to be competitive and fun.
Yeah.
But if he just gets run over and is not competitive, then yeah, I think you cut bait.
Has a submission win over the champion.
He sure does. One of the craziest subs of all time.
What's his? So this is at 205, correct? Yeah. It's at
205.
He's been back up at 205. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So his last fight again at 205 was Volkan Ozdemir. Is that correct? Back in 2022.
No, it's a Bellato fight. With
Bellato. Oh yeah, sorry, Bellato. What happened to that? I don't remember why that was.
That was an illegal blow that Bellato like was falling down and looked at the ref, and then the second he touched down, he was like, "Where am I?" And everyone said he was acting.
That really it was just a weird one. Okay, yeah.
There's literally like a Getty image of like him looking at the ref, and then the next thing he's like, "Where am I?" And he's like trying to fight the ref.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Knockouts are weird. All right, thank you, Brandon. Michael Harris, super chat.
Thank you, Michael. Should do a BTL called Stump Jose. He's the MMA Rain Man.
Is that a compliment?
like
Dude knows he's unbelievable.
he has an enye over my e too. That's a new one. Or a tilde, I should say, because what, like stump the schwa, but in MMA. Though, Mike, you were just on a trivia show, were you not, against Jed?
I was. Yeah.
So not to pull back the curtain, but there might be something in the works where I'm on that what's the program called?
Main card. What is it called? Son of a bitch. I don't remember.
There might be something in the works where I go up against a fellow quote unquote Rain Man that happens to work for our chief rival website.
Oh,
TBD though.
Okay. All right.
Should be fun.
I like this.
All right.
The pressure's on.
Thank you, Michael Harris. Plushy pictures. Little off topic, but about today.
That press routine Aspinall and God was absolutely terrible. I could see why the UFC was so desperate to book Jones Tom. Felt like a casual conversation with booing in the background. I mean, what'd you expect?
I know. What do you want?
What did you expect? Honestly, did you expect Tom Aspinall to like go up and slap Cyril Gane in the face in Paris? Hell no.
He's a gentleman.
Tom's the sympathetic babyface. Not today, but is not going to play the heel. It's just not in who he is. And Cyril's not going to sit there and talk a bunch of trash either. You're not going to get it's not going to be Bryce Mitchell and John Silva up there. It's just not going to be. So, yeah, Tom Aspinall is over because he just annihilates people in the cage in 60 seconds or less. And that's it. And he's probably, I don't know if he beats Cyril Gane in 60 seconds, but he's probably going to beat Cyril Gane. So,
do you think that's the only reason Tom Aspinall is over, just because of his wins? Like, you don't think just his general personality?
Oh yeah, and John certainly helped him. And John Jones made him who he is right now, like without question. John not fighting him has made Tom who he is. It's made him super popular, and Tom just being a fun, nice guy who just annihilates people in the cage. I think him fighting Curtis Blades on top of everything was the best thing he could have done, because it just showed like, all right, I just nuked this dude in 60 seconds. Plus, he's just a fun, cool dude. And then it just basically appeared like the greatest of all time was afraid to fight him and retired from the sport to avoid fighting him. So that obviously puts him over. But the problem with all of this is now Tom was probably a little too honest at the press conference. He was just like, yeah, there's nobody else to fight. Maybe you should try to put Cyril over a touch more, I guess, than that. But like, that was like this takeaway line from the whole thing was like, yeah, I have to fight him because there's nobody else.
Yeah. Cyril also definitely lost his last fight.
Oh, yeah.
Volkov.
They shouldn't have booked Cyril. It should not have been Cyril.
Just book Volkov. I wouldn't even care. Just book Volkov.
Should have booked Derek Lewis, man.
It should have been
Derek Lewis.
It should have been Jailton. Jailton beat Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis has beat Volkov. Tom beat Volkov in like 45 seconds already. Like, Jailton is the only really fresh matchup that hasn't really got the opportunity.
Yeah, I would have liked Jailton over Gane as well, but
because it's not too much time about the fresh matchup. It's more just about because Gane just has that John Jones stink on him still, and he will, and that's gonna carry over to this fight. I mean, so the like Tom Aspinall is in such a no-win situation in the sense that he can't beat Gane better.
Yeah,
I guess if he knocks him out, and no one's really hurt Gane significantly on his feet. Like if Tom Aspinall can do that, but I mean we're still him doing it in a quicker fashion than Jones. It's just I don't understand this booking. I just don't understand this booking. Just don't get it.
Yeah,
don't
get either. I know Gane is in a bunch of Netflix movies now, so maybe that has something to do with it.
And he's super talented. Obviously, he's a top 5 heavyweight. It's just the timing is just weird when there were other better opponents. But
he's had lots of title opportunities. I mean, a ton of them. So, and he got an injured Francis and lost. Then he gets the John Jones fight and gets buried. Like, I just don't see. I just don't know how he wins this fight. I just don't. But who knows?
No, I believe he can win because they're heavyweights and he's a very good heavyweight. And you know, every heavyweight can get knocked out. It just doesn't. The timing is just the
outside
Yeah.
outside of fresh matchups and storylines and who has John Jones stink on it. Is this the best fight? Are these the two best heavyweights not named John Jones in the UFC?
The two best.
Who? So Tom is clearly one. We all agree Tom's the best heavyweight. Who's number two?
Shit.
I know there's like a gap, but like Cyril, by default, is Cyril just the second best heavyweight?
Maybe by default.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I don't hate the fight. The timing is strange, but as like a fight, I like it.
That's what I mean. But the time gone, you're gonna put Derek Lewis there. Think of the excitement of Aspinall, Derek Lewis. It's just different. Even though we know
that
Gon's a better
would have
fighter.
been so much better today if it was Derek Lewis.
Yeah.
Like, it just would have been so much better.
And that's what Aspinall needs. He needs like that kind of hype. And there's just gonna be no hype on this fight outside of, all right, we're getting it. We're seeing a heavyweight fight. The hype is the fact that it's for a belt. Yeah, that's it. But Derek Lewis is Derek Lewis. I don't know. And Derek Lewis got that. He's had that big victory. It's way easier to sell to the casuals.
Yeah. It's all about just getting Tom. The most important thing is that Tom Aspinall is fighting. So he just needs to fight. And what Tom needs to do more than anything is just like he fights in October. He needs to be back by February and fighting again. And he needs to fight like 3 times in 2026.
The good news is there's a number one contender fight on his card, so that will line up perfectly. They also have not announced the December pay-per-view.
Nope.
If Tom wins, I would love Tom versus fill in the blank, and then Lerone Volkanovski in the co-main. Get a little 2 Brits on the main co-main. Got to get TNT Sports out there. Get everyone's there for Tom. Lerone Murphy gets some of the shine. Works out sometimes.
Wouldn't hate it.
All right.
Hey, that's what they're just holding Derek Lewis for December. I get it. All right. UFC knows what they're doing. They're holding Derek for December.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep fighting for this.
How dare we question the UFC's genius matchmaking plans?
They're doing long-term booking.
Yeah, long-term booking.
They didn't want to give us Derek. They want us to wait for Derek a couple more months. get his shot.
Yeah. This one is for Jose.
Are you in on the Peacemaker series?
No. I just did the Barstool podcast earlier today about Superman news and all that stuff. I've never watched Peacemaker. I will. I just haven't. I was never a Peacemaker comic book fan. I'm not a big Suicide Squad fan. He's great in Pax Americana in the Multiversity series, but in terms of this, no. I don't like. We don't have to get into this right now. I am not a fan of how. No, I don't actually. I am totally indifferent. It's a strange decision that Peacemaker is going to lead into Man of Tomorrow. That's weird. This should be. I don't know why Peacemaker. They're so into giving the spotlight to Peacemaker. Very strange, but whatever. Do you, DC?
I really like. I don't know who Peacemaker is as far as the comic book world. I've only seen the TV series, and I enjoyed the first season a lot. It is good, superhero, funny entertainment, and I have nothing else to say about it because I don't know. I don't know the origin or who's the. What did you say? Following Man of what? What did you say at the end?
Man of Tomorrow was announced yesterday by James Gunn, which is the sequel / not sequel to Superman. And they put out 3 original pieces of art of Superman and Luthor. Luthor is in his war suit. 2 of them, they're friendly. 1 of them, they're fighting. So James Gunn is on record saying Man of Tomorrow is not Superman 2. It is its own movie that happens to be very Superman heavy. And he also said that Peacemaker season 2 is going to lead into Man of Tomorrow to the point where which is baffling because Peacemaker and Superman just don't really cross over in the comics. And this is the last thing I'll say. Like from what I've heard and been told is James Gunn is like, there's like 3 people that have been able to see the last 2 episodes of Peacemaker because there's like people are saying Superman or Luthor make an appearance, and he doesn't want it leaked. So if you're very interested in Man of Tomorrow, probably watch the last couple episodes of Peacemaker. I haven't seen it. Don't really care about the character. There is a crazy character, don't remember his name, where Peacemaker fights, who has like electric powers, and he gets them by doing copious amounts of drugs, specifically cocaine. And then he shoots lightning out of his hands.
So, Jose, when you're talking about Peacemaker, you're only talking 100% from the comics. You're not talking about the TV series, because you haven't
I've never seen the show. The comic book, he's fine, but he's not like a guy that I would go out and buy. Like, he's cool when he pops up. Like in the Multiversity one, when the Pax Americanus one, where Frank quietly drew, where he saves the president. That's an amazing issue, an amazing medium of entertainment. After reading that, I wasn't like, I need more Peacemaker. It's just, I don't know why they chose this. It's just, it's a strange. I'm happy it's good. I don't know why they chose Peacemaker. Because have you seen Suicide Squad? I watched Suicide Squad, and I'm not like, oh, I need more Peacemaker.
There's 2 Suicide Squad movies.
The
one
second
sucked, and one. The second one, I enjoyed it a lot. It was fun. I'm not a big super.
But like, I don't. Did you leave that? Be like, I need 10 episodes of Peacemaker. Probably not.
I like the show. I think the cast is good.
I'm glad it's great. I'm just saying, when they announced it, I'm like, strange take. Hope it's good.
I want more Idris Elba, whoever character that was. I want to see more of him.
Deadshot or yeah.
I don't know.
He replaced Will Smith, right?
I don't know.
He's the bullseye of
the
DC one. We don't have to get into this. I could talk.
And one I guess one more before we get out of here. This one's from Mike.
Are the Patriots back? I believe in Drake May. I don't know. We'll see. I have faith. I think they will exceed expectations. Does that mean a playoff berth? Not sure. If they somehow make the playoffs, like, this is like success times a billion if they make the playoffs.
The AFC they could go 12-5 and miss the playoffs, because the Bills they're going to win the division, but then you have to assume like the Bengals are going to be there, the Chiefs are going to be there, the Chargers are going to be there, the freaking Ravens are going to be there. That is, the AFC is so much better than the NFC.
Yeah, the Bills are make the playoffs. They're going to be the number 1 seed, and then they're going to lose either in the first or second round. It's going to be hilarious. Nothing makes me happier than watching the Buffalo Bills losing the playoffs.
Micah Parsons to the Packers, though. Oh my God! I was in Manchester, and I was in the kebab shop across the street from the hotel. It was just like 2 a.m, and my phone started to go ballistic, and I started to shadow box around a bunch of English people, and they're like, what is going on? I'm like, I wish I was in America right now, because I need to talk about Micah Parsons going to the Packers.
Well, congratulations. It's a great signing. Great move.
Roman Anthony sacrificed his oblique. Speaking of which, I can't wait till you guys see my Halloween costume. If you're a fan of the Boston Red Sox and professional wrestling, you guys will love it.
Oh.
People can probably figure out the direction I'm going with, but it'll be fun.
I love this. Right. My greatest Halloween costume of all time was going... And the timing was perfect because this happened in October, like 2 weeks before Halloween. I was Don Zimmer.
Did you just get thrown around the whole time? That's so funny.
I got a pinstripe baseball uniform. I put a couple of pillows in there, and I drank probably $200 worth of beers that night because people I would just run and people would just throw me. And because I was wearing pillows, I would just slide across the floor all night. It never hurt. It was my best work. It was my best work.
That is peak. I would have bought you a beer if I saw that.
Yep. But that's it. Are we done?
C'est la vie.
Yeah. We're done.
No, Jose, take us home. You're in the middle spot.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everyone for watching the UFC Paris preview show. Mike, are you doing a Q&A tomorrow before the People's Q&A?
Yes, People's Pre-Fight Show, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. So get your coffee, your bagels, your breakfast,
Bagels.
ready to go.
That's right.
Love a good time.
And with that, Casey, take us away.
Oh, we're good.
Bye
That's
bye.
it. Bye.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Au revoir. Adios. Baguette. Baguette. Is that how you say it?
Yep.
Until tomorrow.
It sure is.